evening, germs and germettes. It is once again I, 2AthamR7, about to begin this fifth video in the Hikari path on A Sky About Stars, which makes it quite the longest route that we've traveled thus far. Anyway, I think it's time for us to continue on here, because at the end of the last video, we left it on a cliffhanger. Saya, who has been estranged from her two friends, Hikari and Akito here for the longest time, is coming out of her house on the night where they're supposed to be watching meteor showers together. And perhaps, she's actually going to join up with them, so let's see what happens. Lifelessly, I walked down this dark street. The streetlights were far apart, as always. But strangely enough, it seemed brighter than usual. The stars were shining in the clear moonless night sky. But my feet felt heavy. The clouds were gone and the wind had picked up. It seemed to be blowing into the hollows of my heart. Hikari and Aki would come get me, right? They were kind people, both of them. But what expression should I have when I met with them? I hadn't decided yet. I want the three of us to look at the stars again, just like we used to. It's okay to believe that they will come, right? Those were the messages that Aki had sent a few days before. And I had replied, I hope that day will come too. We couldn't go back. Well, not the way we used to be. But I had a feeling about tonight, that's why I'd come outside. Perhaps we'd be able to see it. The starlit night we used to have. I had come to the stop and by to take a look, but there was no one there. There was a piece of paper saying closed for the meteor shower. Cody wasn't around either. They must have left already. It was 20 minutes past the appointed meeting time, so that was to be expected. Even though it was my fault, I felt like crying. There was always someone for me here, but now there was no one. I'd been left behind, and a pang of loneliness suddenly welled up and gripped my heart. I felt tears welling up.
Saya? Saya, 来てくれたんだ。
Hikari had taken cover from the wind. Now she stepped out of the shadows into the starlight. I hadn't seen my beloved friend in such a long time. It had really been only 2 weeks or so, but I had missed her so much. The tears started welling up again. Hikari's face darkened at my question.
あんたを待ってたに決まってんでしょうが。そうなんだ。何その意外そうな顔。もう腹立つな。バカバカ。
She gave me a light smack on the arm.
ごめん。
I had clearly been the one avoiding Hikari, so things were a little awkward. It seemed like Hikari felt it too, but in this kind of situation, as she would always be the one to make the first move. It had always been that way. I was shy and withdrawn, and she was impatient, so she was always the one to approach. What about Akito? Oh, sorry. Someone had to guide them to the secret observatory, surely. But Hikari shook her head.
あいつなら商店街に行ってる。商店街？街路灯にかぶせた傘が一部外れちゃったって連絡があったの。直したいけど人手がないから誰か手伝いに来てくれないかって。それで行っちゃったの？アキト君。うん。
I was dumbfounded. Now was not the time for that sort of thing. The event was about to start. Even if the streetlight covers were fixed, it wouldn't mean anything. Hikari laughed at my reaction.
みんなもそんな顔してた。でもね、違うの。そうじゃないんだ。そうじゃない？あいつ、私にこう言ったの。
There must be some reason I have to go, right, Hikari?
あ、きっと。
Everyone, please go on ahead to the viewing point. I'll settle things as fast as I can and catch up.
理由って？
Didn't you say it, Hikari? That for every light turned off down here, a star would return to the night sky? He believed you. That's why the Shopping Center Association president agreed to cover the streetlights. We can't take that for granted, right? Otherwise, we'd be saying that our own words were all lies. Come on, I'll just be gone for a while. I'll make it back in time, I promise.
って言って、自転車こいで猛スピードで行っちゃった。
I couldn't help but laugh when I heard the story.
そうだよね。たっくんならそうするよ。
All of a sudden, I felt at ease. That constricting feeling in my chest was gone like a rain cloud blown out to the sea by the breeze.
たっくんはちっとも変わってないんだね。
He was still that boy, the boy who said my eyes looked like Albiera. Hikari nodded, a little dumbfounded herself.
ほんとさ、かっこいいよね、あいつ。だね。
I agreed wholeheartedly. That was the Aki I liked.
あのね、さや。
Hikari became serious all of a sudden.
私、ずっと後悔してた。あんたのラブレターをあいつに渡したこと。光、そのせいで私は私の好きを手放さなきゃいけなくなっちゃったから。だよね。だから光は駒子さんになってあっくんとお話ししてたんでしょ。でもじゃあどうしてその気持ちをまた隠そうとしたの？それは。
Hikari furrowed her brow, then spoke hesitantly.
さやは大切な友達だし、アキトだってそう。だから私は二人に幸せになってほしかった。それなのに、ラブレターのことずっと後悔してる自分が嫌で。だってそれじゃまるで私は二人の幸せを願ってないみたいじゃない。正直今でもわからないよ。私は自分勝手なんじゃないかって。
So that had been what had fractured the three of us and our friendship. Hikari was blaming herself, probably. But really, I was the one who caused the first crack. After all, I had fallen in love first.
私、感動したよ。光の言葉に。私の言葉？
I nodded.
感動会の夜、みんなに語ったあの言葉。コロナちゃんが届けてくれた光の言葉は、光たちを避けることしかできなかった私を動かした。どうしてだと思う？それはどうして？私も取り戻したいって思ったからだよ。あの頃みたいな夜空を。そうしたらまた一緒にいられるかもしれない。また3人に戻れるかもしれない。そう思ったの。
I felt my strength leaving me as I spoke, and I looked down at the ground. But I gathered my courage and I said what I truly felt.
私も見て 明るい夜、二人たちと一緒に。さや。
The night sky that day, the three of us felt that day, perhaps they were lost to us forever. But if we made this miraculous night happen by our own hands, I might believe that what we'd lost could be regained.
はい。
Hikari put something in front of my downcast eyes.
キーホルダー。
It was a keychain with a picture of Capricorn, my star sign.
さやがいなくて超心細かった。やっぱさ、私たち3人じゃないとダメなんだってつくづく思ったね。さやがいなくて全然不安で怖くて、一人じゃ何もできる気がしなくて、アキトに手を握っててもらってもまだ不安で、それでこのキーホルダー、お守りみたいに持ち歩いて心細い時に握ってた。さやと手をつないでるつもりで。
I held up both my hands, into which Hikari dropped the keychain. It was cute, but a little childish. Hikari showed me a keychain with her own star sign, Leo, and gave me a nervous yet energetic laugh.
お揃いだよ。
Hikari placed her hands on top of mine.
今からすっごい自分勝手なこと言うね。さやと手をつないでいたい。これからもずっと。
At the warmth of Hikari's hand, I felt the tears welling up again. I was a crybaby, slow on my feet. I wasn't strong like Aki or optimistic like Hikari. But even Hikari got uneasy, all because I wasn't around. You've been holding this all this time.
ずっと握ってたんだ。うん、さやだと思って力いっぱいグググッと。私を寂しくさせやがってってね。それで時々胸が苦しくなったり、体の節々が痛かったんだね。って呪ってたわけじゃないから。
We laughed, just the two of us. Come to think of it, Hikari was the only friend I could share jokes like this with.
これ、あっくんとデートしてる時に買った？うん、そうだけど。何？ダメだった？
I gave an exaggerated sigh.
デートの時くらい私のことなんか忘れちゃいなよ。なんで呆れるの？いいじゃん別に、何考えてたって。ダメだよ、そんなんじゃあっくんに振られちゃうよ。デートの時はちゃんと好きな人のことだけを考えるの。そんなの無理だって。だって私さやたんのこと大好きなんだもん。もんじゃない。やっぱり私帰る。お邪魔虫は嫌だもんね。待って帰っちゃやだ、さやたん。
I sped through the night, the wheels on my bike splashing in and out of puddles left by the rain. I pedaled standing up, using my whole body weight. How many minutes left until the event starts? I didn't have the energy to look at my watch, but I was sure I had less than 30 minutes. Replacing the streetlight covers hadn't taken that much time at all. Only 3 had come off, so I got the job done quick with the help of the chairman and his daughter. We've been doing the same thing for several days now, so I was used to it. They hadn't realized that I had headed to the viewing point right after that, and apologized profusely when I told them. Riding off to look cool is fine and all, but if I'm late, I'm not going to hear the end of it. Right before I left the shopping district, I got a message from Hikari.
待ってるね。さやと一緒に。
So Saya had come in the end, but it meant nothing if I didn't make it in time. Ah! I was starting to feel fatigued as I pedaled as hard as I could down those streets into deserted night. My bike, though, was well maintained, was still really old, and I thought it might fall apart as I sped toward the old Mikasaki village. I passed my school along the way, the familiar fields, even the stopping by. This was the path I took when I walked Kotaru. Just then, out of the corner of my eye, I saw a meteor shoot across the sky. I was going to chase it, catch up to it, and pass it. Soon I came to the gently sloping mountain path, and after a while I saw a huge dark shadow. It was the Hoshino Dam.
来た。おーい。
Two small figures waved at me from the dam's path. I suddenly threw on the brakes and stopped, giving my body and my bike a well-deserved rest. While I tried to catch my breath, Hikari ran over to me, visibly pleased.
あのね、さやが来てくれたよ。
Later. I wheezed like a deflating tire. We'll talk later. Get on the bike.
そうだった。ほら、さや乗って。
In a rush, Hikari pushed Saya onto the bike rack. Even though she was wearing a skirt, she had to straddle the rack.
まさかこれ。
Hikari got on too, sandwiching Saya in the middle.
もっと奥詰めて。
Pushed from behind by Hikari, Saya's body was right up against my back.
もう無理だよ。押さないで。光のおっぱいが大きすぎるんだよ。スタンバイオッケー。
All right, hold on tight. With 2 people on the rack, I started pedaling again. They were both very light. Saya was feather light, but together they did weigh something. Unable to speed up, I stepped on the pedal so hard it felt like my veins on my temple would pop. You 2 got heavier. The murderous intent behind me was palpable from both my passengers. It will.
私は全然そんなことないけど、このままじゃさやが重くなっちゃったみたいになるから、頑張ってこげ。ちょっと光、重くなったのはあなたでしょ。
Hey, no fighting. While we squabbled, several meteors passed above us. The Geminid meteor shower had begun. How much time left?
15分。
Here we go, don't fall off. I had to kick the pedals to accelerate. Hikari helped by pushing against the ground with the tips of her shoes and started gaining speed. The 3 of us rode a single bike along the mountain path through the cold wind. Once we got moving, it wasn't that hard. I just prayed that screeching chain wouldn't break into 1,000 pieces. We made some progress at this speed, but then we started to slow down. The path slowly got steeper as we went up the mountain. If we lost momentum now, we'd never get it back. Saya sounded worried. It must have looked like I was grinding my molars to dust. Hikari, help me out! Hikari leapt nimbly off the bike and put her hands on the rack. With a yell that showed no concern for cuteness, Hikari ran as fast as she could while pushing the bike. Without Hikari's weight on it, the bike picked up speed once again. Saya held on tight. Saya put her arms around my body and held on for her life. That's Hikari, oh well. Hikari, the turbo engine gave us the acceleration we needed to clear the steep slope in one go. The worst was over. It was all gentle slopes from here on out. We're good! In one swift motion, with a child's grace, Hikari mounted the accelerating bike from the running start. Once again, I was amazed at her athleticism. Her being in the astronomy club was a huge loss for the sports clubs at Amahai, surely. Arigato, you saved us back there. Hikari snorted triumphantly. Saya was clearly amused. She wouldn't stop laughing. You two haven't changed much. With her arms still around me, Saya wistfully pressed her cheek against my back. Have you changed? Saya shook her head. Hikari put her arms around Saya and me. We were just a bunch of kids having fun as we ran toward the viewing point at the abandoned station. Give me your hand! After ditching the bike at the forest's edge, we ran, kicking up the tufts of grass on the way. Saya was about to slip and fall from exhaustion, so Hikari and I held one hand each. At last, we made it out of the forest. There it was, the abandoned station, our secret observatory. The members of the Six Stars Club were gathered at the station's platform, waiting for our arrival. Time! We made it! I nearly collapsed in relief, but Toyota and Kawanakajima caught me just in time. Arigato. Behind me, Hikari still had the energy to clamber onto one of the train cars. Hey, no fair! I was about to climb up too when... Sorry, here! I held out my hand and helped her up. From above, Hikari gave Saya a hand too. There we go. Phew. As the last one to get on the roof, I just lay there for a while. I can't get up.
お疲れ、アキト。お疲れ様。頑張ったね。
As I lay there looking at the sky, my field of vision was filled with stars. After the rain, the night sky was clearer than usual. The rain had washed away the dust and debris in the air, I guess. Several meteors blazed across that pristine sky. It was already a beautiful sight to behold.
そろそろライブ開始しますね。
よろしくお願いします。
Toyota started recording with the camera that they had set up earlier. The camera was aimed at the streets of Hoshinonaka City, as seen from the abandoned station, Hikari Station. Everything that happened from now on would be broadcast live online.
ライブ配信開始しました。音声も拾ってますんで、変なこと言わないよう注意してくださいね。
The Nishai High first year, who was operating the notebook PC connected to the camera, asked everyone to be careful, even though her warning itself had probably been picked up by the broadcast.
みんなスマホか携帯準備。
Hikari called out to everyone from the roof.
プロジェクトスタートまで煽りまくろう。まくろう。
Remarkably, even Saya was all fired up. Sorry, but I'm going to take a break. My legs were sore and I couldn't raise my arms. From where I was, I looked down at the city. 2 minutes to 10. The streets were still full of lights. The countless glittering spots made it look like there was a small galaxy right here on Earth. 6 years ago, when I left my parents to live with my grandfather in Mikuzuki Village, the city streets would be completely dark at this hour. Then there were more people, more houses, more stores, signboards, and public facilities, which meant more streetlights. This backwater town had developed rapidly and had become affluent, displacing the stars from the night sky along the way. The world was always changing, nothing was forever. Even the stars would burn themselves out eventually. But that was exactly why it was noble. If you wanted something to last forever, you had to work for it. Looking at the streets from here always makes me emotional somehow. I was the only one waxing sentimental. Beside me, Hikari and the others were on their phones making final calls to action. It's almost time, everyone. Are you ready? Project Starlight! Even Saya and Monica were online doing their best to get people excited. The Festival of Stars was about to begin. Now it's all in the hands of fate, I guess.
もうすぐ30秒前です。
Monica gave the signal. Everyone stopped posting comments online and looked at their watches instead.
20秒前だよ。
13、
12、
11、
10、9、8、
7、
6、4、3、2、1。
0! As the countdown went on, my heartbeat got faster. Something incredible was going to happen. A feeling of anticipation gripped us as we looked out at the scene in front of us. But nothing changed. The dark expanse of the night sky was still lit from below by the city lights. Well, we tried. But at that moment...
たく、あの子にも困ったもんだよ。店ほっぽり出して遊びに出かけちゃうなんて。父ちゃんからもたまにはきつく言ってやってくださいね。
うん。
父ちゃんが甘やかすからいけないんですよ。聞いてます？
そういや、そろそろじゃないか。
何がです？
あの子が言ってたろう。星がどうとかって。
そうでした。電気消すからテレビも消してくださいね。
ん
お客様にご案内いたします。本日はプロジェクトスターライトに参加するため、夜10時でイルミネーションを消灯いたします。
皆様、今夜のイルミネーションは10時までとなっております。まもなく消灯いたしますので、足元にお気をつけください。なお、それ以降は夜空にもっと美しい流星のイルミネーションが灯りますので、どうぞご安心してお楽しみください。
館長、時間です。
よし、やってくれたまえ。
街の火が消えていきますわ。
One by one, the lights of the city were extinguished. It was as if the city was going to sleep. Darkness slowly fell on the streets, which meant...
見て、星が。
The night sky was shining bright. As each light below went out, another star blazed anew in the night sky. Countless small points of light glittered in the clear darkness as if someone had returned the fallen stars to the sky. And across that starlit sky, as if on cue, one meteor fell, then another. Then there were more. Many more than we'd seen earlier. I was sure they'd been falling for some time already. We just hadn't been able to see them.
すごいよ。見て、アギト。流れ星があんなに。
はい。Saya shrugged and smiled. Then she tapped Hikari on the shoulder.
こういう時はもっと彼女らしくする。あ、はい。
The night became darker than normal. The city was almost completely dark. I don't think we'd ever have a night this dark, not even when I was a kid. The meteors left countless fiery tails in their wake, lighting up the clear night sky. My eyes had adjusted to the darkness, so the light of the innumerable stars and meteors was almost blinding. Now that's what I call a bright night.
今、どのくらいの人がこの空を見上げているのかな。
More people than we could count, I'm sure. There were so many lights extinguished in the city. The same number of people who were looking up now, surely. Just as we were at the bright night that was right here in front of our eyes. Please repost. Project Starlight is starting. Turn your lights off and enjoy the sky full of stars. Project Starlight. Lights off. Surprised how dark it is outside. Never seen the sky so dark before. It's a bit scary. Project Starlight. Lights off 1 hour ago. Viewing meteor shower now. Don't know how many I've seen already. LOL. Amazing. Project Starlight. OMG, I almost forgot to LOL. Thanks, Project Starlight. Meteor shower observation tips. Stay alert to danger when observing outside in the dark. Let's all have fun and safety, Project Starlight. My first meteor shower viewing. It's awesome. Probably my first time seeing a meteor, ever. Kudos to the organizers, Project Starlight.
ねえ、昔聞かせてくれたよね、お父さんの話。
Next to me, Hikari was looking up at the sky full of stars and endlessly falling meteors. What is it? What was it?
星を見るとき、人はいつもより少しだけ優しくなれる。
Ah. Come to think of it, I did tell Hikari about that. That night. The night Hikari and I first looked at the night sky through a telescope. You remembered? Hikari nodded.
ずっと遠く、空の彼方から届く小さな小さな光を、もしもみんなが感じられるようになったなら、世界はきっと今よりほんの少しだけ平和になる。本当だね。
Hikari spoke in a whisper, seemingly convinced that right now the world was at peace. I felt the same way. I was sure that Saya, Hanukkah, and the others felt the same way too. Only a few lights were left on in the city below us. It proved surely that so many people had come together for a common cause. The meteors were coming down over the heads of the stargazers just like a shower of blessings. It was a truly miraculous scene. It felt like I had traveled a long, long way to witness the scene. Here we are. We made it. Our next destination, remember? I turned to look at Hikari and Saya. Back then, we were children who knew nothing of love. We had dreamed of a place. Our next destination as we gazed at the starlit sky in their youthful innocence. Even though we didn't stop the construction of the dam, even though we didn't stop important friends from going far away, we finally made it. The sky we had longed to see. The gentle night full of stars that appeared when everyone turned off their lights. Wouldn't it be great to have more nights like that? Thank you, both of you, for bringing me here. Saya looked down. She seemed disheartened.
私は何もできてないよ。二人の後をくっついていっただけ。何言ってんの。サヤがいないと今頃プロジェクトも失敗して、私ら虚しく別々に流星群を見てたよ。
That's true. We only knew how to keep running, so if Saya hadn't been there to direct us from behind, we would never have made it here. Hikari pulled Saya close.
いいチームだよね、私たち。
Linking arms with Saya and me, Hikari looked at all the people on the platform. It would have been impossible with just the three of us. Our unfulfilled childhood dreams had come true with the help of our friends from the Six Stars Club. Things both important and trivial fallen out through the holes in our pockets. Those empty pockets were now filled to the brim with the meteors that were falling endlessly. On this gentle, miraculous night. Anything and everything felt possible. We could solve the mysteries of outer space. I could reach out to gather up those meteors, as long as the three of us were together, as long as our friends were here for us, as long as Hikari was here.
ねえ、何か願い事しよっか。こんなにたくさん流れ星が降ってたら、願い事の方が足りなくなっちゃいそうだよ。違うよ、一つだけ。とっておきのやつ。いくよ、せーの。待って待って、また3人で こんな明るい夜が見られますように。
Out of the myriad stars that were falling tonight, I was sure one of them would grant our wish. Our bright night, a meteor shower against a backdrop of countless twinkling stars, that was finally coming to an end. The moment the morning sun rose over the horizon, the spell was broken, and all was normal again. But the experience of that miraculous night remained in our hearts, and in the hearts of all who turned off their lights and looked up at the night sky. I'll say it clearly. Project Starlight was an awesome success!
見たでー、ヒカリンまたテレビで撮ったやん。へっへっへ、またインタビューされちゃいました。なあ、うちらも地元の新聞にちょろっとだけ載ったけど。
あ、俺たちもです。カウン誌みたいなのに紹介してもらいましたよ。慶風学園さんも出てましたよね、テレビ。自作望遠鏡の数々に圧倒されました。
なんかいいとこ全部持ってかれた感じだった。そんなつもりは。でも一緒にインタビュー受けたおかげでももかさんたちに会えてよかったです。我々も楽しかったです。それにとてもいい刺激になりました。来月の合同観測会も楽しみにしていますね。なになに、そんなんやんの？なー、超楽しみにしてます。
Project Starlight had spread online and to the whole country, far beyond what we expected, and turned into a major event. We had no idea how many people actually took part, but even an estimate of 20 to 30,000 would be too far off. The project's unexpected reach was the reason we had yet another TV interview. This time, the Six Stars Club shared the screen with Kaifu Academy Astronomy Club, who had helped the project go national. It was because of Kaifu Academy Astronomy Club's reputation and connectedness that so many schools had joined in so quickly. The interview took place at Kaifu Academy, so a few of us took the long train ride there as Six Stars Club representatives.
天才さんにサインもらっちゃったよ。ほら見て。
While waiting to be interviewed, Hikari happened to see the famous Miss Genius, graduated, now a guest lecturer it seems, and asked for her autograph. That aside, we finally got to see everyone from Kaifu Academy Astronomy Club in person, and we quickly agreed to hold an observation meetup. Honestly speaking, we were terrified the whole time. The Kaifu Academy's Astronomy Club made their own telescopes with new ideas and features every year, apparently. Looking at such sophisticated activities, the euphoria of Project Starlight's success quickly dissipated.
京風天文部ですか。奴らは確かになかなかなものですね。でも望遠鏡を作るだけが天文活動じゃない。宇宙の不思議に思いを馳せ探求する気持ち、星空を見上げ美しいと感じる心が大事なんです。自信を持ってください。というか、あんな奴らに負けないでください。
Mr. Morita smiled. It seemed the Six Stars Club had always viewed the Kaifu Academy Astronomy Club as a rival. They weren't on bad terms, but being in the same prefecture had made them guarded, and they never acknowledged each other's achievements easily.
案外子供っぽいとこあるよね、森田さん。
Shh, he can hear us.
何？
Nothing at all.
しかし、プロジェクトスターライト、素晴らしい成果でしたね。予想をはるかに超えて、多くの人々の目を夜空へ向けさせた。星を愛する一天文ファンとして、 感謝の言葉もありません。
Please say no more. We only succeeded because of your cooperation, sir.
ですです。
私はただここであの邪魔な電飾を消しただけです。それをさせてくれたのはあなたたちですよ。ところでそちらのお嬢さんは？
この子がさやです。ほら、一緒にノートをつけてた。
ああ、
天の川さやです。はじめまして。
Saya turned red and looked down at the floor.
あなたが。読みましたよ。あなたたちの惑星観測ノート。素晴らしい内容でした。緻密な観測データは大人顔負けでしたし、足場に書かれた星への思いには大人の私でも共感して何度もうなずいてしまいました。とりわけ惑星から外された冥王星への思いやりは子供らしい視点で思わず微笑ましくなったものです。あのくだりは天の川さんが書かれたと聞きました。
はい。でも書いたのは私じゃなくて、私は自分が知ってることを話しただけで、多分そういう思いやりとかは2人じゃないかな。
そのあたりぜひとも詳しくお話を聞きたいものです。ここではなんだから事務所の方へ。今日はあなたたちが来ると聞いてスコーンを焼いてきたんですよ。さあさあどうぞ。
やっぱり捕まる。
We have a prior engagement, actually.
そうですか。天の川さんも？
私はあるよね。あります。
そうですか。残念だ。またお暇な時にお話ししたいものです。
Miss Morita kindly gave up, much to our relief. We had come by today to report on Project Starlight and convey our gratitude, that was all.
ところで、むつら星の会を作ったのって森田さんなんですよね。
はい、そうです。
各学校にフレアデス7姉妹の名前を付けたのも森田さんなんですか？
Finally, Hikari asked a question that had been on my mind the whole time.
いえ、それは私の妻です。
奥さん？
当時私は星野第一天文部、妻は天高天文部の部長でした。フレアデス7姉妹にちなんでカッコを呼ぶことで会の結束がより固くなるというアイデアなのです。
There was a hint of pride in Mr. Morita's voice.
そうですね。
I think it was a great idea.
でしょう？実はこれにはちょっとした裏話がありましてね。
Mr. Morita's addition to the story had turned out to be its own saga, and in the end, we had been forced to hear the whole thing. Project Starlight was, while very successful, soon faded into the past and we returned to our normal everyday lives. It was the last day of the second school term. In the Maiku Academy Astronomy Club room, the Six Stars Club and one ex-member were having a lively discussion.
僕は絶対うまくいくって思ってましたよ。
適当言ってんじゃねえぞ豊田。
適当なんて言ってないよ。
We'd been chatting over food and drink for nearly 2 hours now, after the end of term ceremony. Of course, we had been talking about Project Starlight. Almost all of our talk had been self-congratulatory.
コロナたち、すごいことやったんだよね。
まさに今が我々新生むつら星の会の黄金時代。
ちょっと白鳥さんはもう引退しているでしょ。
いいじゃない、混ぜてくれたって。私が復活させたのよ。そうですよ、ひかりさん。白鳥先輩がいてこそのむつら星の会です。先輩、私はいつでも歓迎いたします。
More than 10 days had passed since the project, but there was a reason for us talking about it as if it had been yesterday. The day after the project, we had been forced to face the cruel reality of end-of-term tests. Since the meteor shower spell broke that morning, we had studied every dull day until the tests were over, unable to talk about the project at all. And so we could be excused for exaggerating things a bit.
みんなすごいよね。
私びっくりしちゃったよ。すごいのは天の川先輩です。天の川先輩のあのポエミーな動画がなかったらこの逆転劇は生まれませんでした。
Hikari snorted in excitement.
ですよね。あの動画がきっかけで系風が味方についてくれたんですから。
私は別に。光がすごくいいこと言ってるからみんなにも聞いてもらいたいなって思っただけで。
それを言うならこっそり録音して天の川先輩に届けたコロナのファインプレーだよ。そうだね。ありがとねコロナ。へっへん。あんたは本当はさやのことが大好きなんだもんね。違うよ、全然好きじゃないよ。彼がこんな人。来年には身長だって勝つんだから。
コロナさんはもう少し素直になった方がいいわね。
ほら OG 命令だぞ。
姫ちゃんだったら大好きだって言えるよ。
ありがとうコロナさん。
Orihime smiled fondly at Corona, then looked at everyone.
皆さん本当に力を合わせて頑張ったわ。私が会を復活させたのは一つの学校だけではできない何か大きなことをできるようにするためだった。こんなにも早くそれを成し遂げるなんて。
It's all because you believed in us, Orihime.
ありがとう。
Orihime smiled brightly, but then her face darkened.
おう、私も参加したかったわ。
次の機会にまたありますから天体ショーは。
そうです。白鳥先輩でしたらいつでも大歓迎です。なんだったら明日からまた明光学院天文部に復帰なさってくださっても。制服まだ入るかしら。
Orihime seemed to be giving it some serious thought. In this way, the Project Starlight post party came to an end.
ほんじゃお疲れ様っす。またね。お疲れ。
お疲れ様です先輩。はあ、楽しかったね。
光はしゃぎすぎだよ。
はしゃぎたいのずっと我慢してたんだよ。テストの間さ、うちの学校じゃ話す相手もいないし。
Isn't there anyone who saw it on TV?
いたよ。なんか1年生のグループに声かけられて、もしかしたら入部してくれるかも。
それは素晴らしいわ光さん。うちももしかすると入部希望者が増えるかもしれません。
コロナのクラスの子でね、この間の流星群見て星に興味持ってる子がいるんだ。
Wow, that's nice. How about us, I wonder?
私は今の部長と二人きりの部活動でも満足ですが、時々コロナのお兄さんも遊びに来てくれますし。
Meeting my gaze, Hikari spoke with absolute certainty. But I was retiring from the club next year, and I couldn't leave Hikari all by herself. We had to try and get some new members this next year.
京風天文部との合同観測会、楽しみだね。向こうの合宿所でフォトマにするんでしょ。
ドーム設備があって大口径の自作望遠鏡を備えているとか。
You're coming too, Orihime?
いいの？じゃあ行きますわ。賑やかな合宿になりそうだね。せっかくですので勉強させてもらいましょう。
Night fell as we chatted at the bus stop, and soon the bus came by. Corona and the others got on.
それじゃあね、アキニーピカリン。それから一応天の川先輩も。
さようなら皆さん。良いお年をお迎えください。
またね。
さようなら。
Almost everyone got on the bus, and only the three of us heading to Mikazuki Station were left.
さやはこの後どうするの？
家に帰るだけだけど。
じゃあさ、一緒にお茶してこうよ。ね、いいでしょ、アキト。
はい。
かり何？あなたはアキト君の彼女なんだから、もっと彼女らしくしなさい。してるよ、ほらほら。
Hikari put her arm around mine.
そんなの前からしてたじゃない。私だってしてたわよ。じゃあどうすればいいのよ。決まってるでしょ。二人きりの時間を大事にして余計な邪魔者を混ぜようとしないの。まだそんなこと言ってる。さやたんは邪魔者じゃないやい。
Saya was clearly at her wit's end.
そんなだとアッコに振られちゃうよ。そうなの、アキト。
Well, I don't know.
まあそれならそれでいいけど、そしたら次は私の番だもんね。アキトは渡さないよ。
Hikari hugged tight as a show of ownership.
そうそう、それでいいの。
Saved by the bus.
あんた光は子供なんだから。違うもん。たださやたんが大好きなだけだもん。はいはい。
The two of them boarded the bus noisily. A little ways behind, I couldn't help thinking out loud. How serious was she? I tried not to think about what Saya had said and got on the bus. Thank you for coming. Looks like it's time. After seeing the last customer out of the store, I started closing up. I started the cleanup, sweeping the floor and preparing for tomorrow. While removing unsold books from the magazine corner, my eyes fell on a book with a starry sky on the cover. The Geminids are coming. It was like an observation manual from before the recent Geminid meteor shower. Guess they didn't sell out. We had several copies. There was just one left. As I flipped through it, I relived the scenes from that night. It was really beautiful, huh? Thinking back, that night seemed like something more than reality. To think that so many meteors could fall in one night. I'll buy this last copy. It'll be a nice memento.
空見くん、店閉めちゃって。
The store manager peeked out from the back. Hi! After turning off the sign on the automatic door, I started cleaning up. That was nice. By the time I closed the store, walked to Kotaru, and had my bath, it was nearly midnight. Feeling exhausted, I headed back to my room and opened the door. Ah? What are you doing in my room? Hikari was asleep at the kotatsu table. We had Project Starlight after party in the afternoon. After that, the three of us had some tea, and then I headed out first because I had work. Though I was sure that Hikari had gone home. Hey, you should be dreaming about your boyfriend, right? Hikari and Sire were really close. I was glad that they'd made up. Yo, Hikari, wake up! I tried shaking her gently, but she was sound asleep. Okay, fine. The last train had gone. Even if she did wake up, she wouldn't be able to get home. Tomorrow was the start of winter break anyway. She'd probably get scolded for staying out, but she deserved it. She has some nerve sleeping so peacefully.
さやのほっぺすべすべ。
A little annoyed, I lightly pinched Hikari's cheeks. Your cheeks are so smooth, too, you know? I lay down beside Hikari and stroked her hair. Her dread ponytails were straight. I remembered them being curlier when we were kids. She hadn't changed much on the inside, but on the outside, Hikari had changed a lot.
あきとー、とりゃー。
Yeah!
い 今のがね、フライングクロスチョップ。それでね、これがモンゴリア。
Actually, she acts a lot more like a girl now, too. When we were kids, she was so wild, even Takeichi was scared of her. And now she was this young woman. A funny feeling came over me as I watched her sleep and stroked her hair, so I tried to bring my face close to hers. However, can't reach. I was trying to kiss Hikari, but her lips were too far away, so I kissed her cheek instead. Tummy still feels kind of weird. That was when I decided to try something else. I didn't think I could do it, which was exactly why I took on the challenge. I ran my hand along Hikari's back as she lay curled up under the kotatsu. And there, I felt it even through her clothes. I gave it a squeeze with my fingertips. Snap! Huh? Success? I did it. I actually unhooked her bra with one hand through clothing. I lowered my head to get a better look at Hikari's chest, but the breasts were squashed against the kotatsu anyway, so I couldn't tell the difference. Stroking her back, though, I was sure her bra was off. Touching is okay, too, I guess. If unhooking her bra didn't wake her up, nudging her gently would be okay, too, right? Hikari! Hey, Hikari! Hikari wasn't responding at all. I had no other choice. Now was the time. It's your fault for sleeping without any defenses. Saying that flimsy excuse out loud to no one at all, I proceeded to...
Saya no hoppe sube sube.
While playing with Saya in my dreams, I suddenly woke up to someone pinching my cheeks. I only half woke up. The other half of me was still in dreamland, floating in the narrow space between dreams and reality. I moved my head around to fight off the mysterious pinching when a voice spoke gently into my ear. Your cheeks are smooth too, you know. I felt Akito next to me. My hair was being stroked by a large hand. That felt good, and I was lulled back to sleep. Actually, she acts a lot more like a girl now, too. Akito's eyes were on me. I could feel it. Being stared at while sleeping was kind of embarrassing, so I became a little more alert. Just when I felt Akito's warmth, I heard him breathing right next to me. My heart raced as I lay there waiting. But, can't reach. Instead, I felt a cute peck on the cheek. Tummy still feels kind of weird. I'm sure he could have kissed me if he really tried. Not that I could ever say that out loud. It was all too embarrassing for a pure-hearted virgin like me. A virgin, that's me. Rustle, rustle. Akito's hand was on my back. There was something odd about it, but I was glad he was touching me. It felt good, and I drifted off to sleep again when... Snap! Huh? I almost yelled out in surprise, but I held it back. My bra's hook was undone, wasn't it? But Akito had only touched my back with one hand, threw my clothes at that. There was no way he could perform tricks like that. Suspicious about Akito being a playboy aside, I wasn't going to let anyone touch my boobs that easily. Hikari? Hey, Hikari!
Ah, 思いっきり寝たふりしちゃった。別に触ってほしいとかじゃなくて、アキトの動向をしばし見守ろうという風林火山でいうところの山の精神で。
It's your fault for sleeping without any defenses.
何勝手なこと言ってんの？やっぱ起きよう。そして問い詰めよ
う。You're really out cold, huh?
思わず寝たふりを続けてしまった。これじゃアキトの思うツボだよ。
I knew they were big, but wow. I heard Akito gulp in surprise. He was staring long and hard at my boobs.
恥ずかしいよ。
I wanted to hide them with my arm, but then he'd know I was pretending to be asleep. I mean, it wouldn't be bad if Akito caught me pretending to be asleep, but even still.
アキト、私に何する気なの？
I just had to know, so I kept pretending to be asleep. My heart was beating so loud I was actually worried that Akito would hear it. You're so big.
さっきからでかいでかい言い過ぎでしょ。
I read online that girls with big breasts are naughty. Wonder if that's true.
後で絶対ぶっ飛ばそう。
What nonsense. He was the naughty one fooling around with a sleeping girl.
まあ、寝たふりして好きにさせてるのは私なんだけど。
But I'll kick his ass anyway. We virgins have our pride. Such a beautiful shape. It was a compliment. I couldn't help feeling happy.
ダメよ、ダメダメ。こんなくらいで喜んじゃうなんてちょろいって思われる。そう思われたら最後、もてあそばれて捨てられちゃうんだ。だって、アキトはプレイボーイだもん。
Still pretending to sleep, I opened my eyes a tiny bit and looked at Akito. I was sure he'd be looking at helpless little me and smirking. But I was wrong.
なんか、俺もう我慢できねえって顔してる。
He was staring at my boobs, dead serious, then suddenly, his index finger was en route to my breast.
おっぱいをツンツンする気だ。
And honestly, I wanted to be poked. And if Akito wanted to, we could do more amazing things. But first, I had to get some answers. I stuck out my index finger and brought it forward toward Hikari's overflowing breasts. Just one more inch and... grab. Huh? Hikari held my finger in her hand. Our eyes met. Ohio.
Ohio.
It was a very awkward exchange. Nearly squeezing my finger off, Hikari got up off the floor. Ow, you'll break my finger! Unperturbed, Hikari pushed me down and leaned over me. She brought her face right up close and looked down at me.
ちょっと聞きたいことがあるんだけど。
What is it? Hikari was angry, that was clear. Because I tried to poke her boobs while she was asleep, I guess. To be honest, I hadn't really thought that Hikari would be upset by this kind of fooling around.
あんた、浮気してるでしょ。
Huh? I was taken aback by her unexpected question. No, I'm not at all. Why would you say such a thing like that all of a sudden?
嘘おっしゃい。
Hikari twisted my finger. Ow! I shouted in pain. My finger was bending at a clearly unhealthy angle. I'm not lying?
しらばっくれるんだ。
With eyes that said, I have evidence, Hikari straddled me. Placing her body weight on me, she looked down at me. What's with this position? I'm getting excited, you know. But Hikari's expression remained icy.
本当のこと言いなさい。じゃないとこの指、二度とおっぱいをツンツンできなくしてやる。
It's true, I'm not cheating. I've never cheated on you. Realizing too late that she might actually be doubting me, I defended myself vigorously. What proof do you have? Hikari glared at me as if trying to see through my lie.
ブラジャー外すのがうますぎた。
Huh?
服の上から片手でパチンって。あんなこと私だってできないのに。
Bending over, Hikari looked straight down at my face. Her twin ponytails brushed against my cheeks.
したんでしょ浮気。いろんな子のブラ外しまくってるんでしょ。じゃないとあんなの絶対無理だもん。
Hikari's eyes grew wet. With tears in her eyes and a bit of sulk, she stared at me. It's a mistake, just a big misunderstanding.
浮気した男は大体そういうのよ。ドラマでもいつもそうだもん。
No, it's really a misunderstanding.
言ってみなさい。どうしてブラのホックを外すのがそんなに上達したの？
Well, you see, I didn't want to say. I didn't want to talk about something so pathetic.
早く出ないと。あんたを殺して私も死ぬ。
What a thing to say. I practiced unhooking a bra with one hand.
どうやって？誰とやったの？
Hikari's face grew dark with that second question. With Take. Speaking softly, I looked away.
Huh?
With Take, okay?
嘘。竹と浮気してたの？
No! And even if I did, Takechi wouldn't have been wearing a bra, would he? It was Taki's idea. He asked me to practice undoing bras with him. But I was the one who got better at it. Even so, that was the first time I'd done it smoothly with one hand through clothing. Hikari looked at me suspiciously. They say it makes things less embarrassing for the girl, and I didn't want our first time to be awkward.
よかった。
The daggers in Hikari's eyes turned to tears. Or so I thought, but her whole expression softened in relief.
アキトが浮気してるのかと思ったよ。怖かったよ。
Hikari buried her face in my chest. Sorry, I didn't think you'd take it that way.
アキトかっこいいからモテるのはしょうがないと思う。でもアキトは私の彼氏なんですからね。浮気なんてしちゃダメなんだからね。
That's obvious, right? I'm yours and yours alone.
アキト
It's all right. Embracing Hikari, I stroked her hair to put her at ease. I thought you were mad at me for fooling around while you were asleep.
そんなので怒ったりしないよ。
I know, right? You were awake at some point, too. Hikari shyly looked away. She must have thought her sleeping act was perfect.
アキトにエッチないたずらされるの嫌じゃないよ。すごく嬉しいんだよ。
Is that so?
うん。エッチなアキト可愛いし、それに私のこと好きなんだなーってなるから。でもやっぱちょっと恥ずかしいじゃん。それに初めての時はちゃんと面と向かってしてほしいなんて。
Hikari. What a cute girlfriend.
さっぱりした。
After her bath, Hikari came back to my room looking refreshed. As she had gone to take a bath after her suspicions about cheating on me were laid to rest. No one noticed you, not even the store manager?
大丈夫。静かに入ったから。
The store manager and her husband slept on the first floor, so any noise might have woken them up. What about Miss Maharu?
寝てるんじゃないかな。部屋の電気消えてたよ。
Soka. That was a relief. But why were you sleeping here anyway? After the Project Starlight after party, Hikari should have gone home after hanging out with Saya.
さやと別れた後、アキトの顔見て帰ろうと思ったら先生に見つかって、一緒にゲームやろうって誘われて先生の部屋でゲームしてたの。その後 先生のお母さんに呼ばれて一緒に晩ご飯食べて、お腹いっぱいになったら眠くなっちゃって、寝てたらアキトが私にいたずらしてて。もうドキドキしたぞ。
Blushing, she poked my nose with her index finger. Even though she was my girlfriend, it was kind of annoying, and I felt like tweaking her nose in return. Have you got home yet?
メッセージ送ったらめちゃくちゃ怒ってた。
Huh. What if her curfew got brought forward, or worse, what if she was grounded because of this? Although I was kind of happy to see Hikari in my room after a tiring day at work, it's nice to have someone waiting for you to come home, huh? What?
ううん。
Smiling, Hikari sat next to me and put her feet under the kotatsu.
いつかさ、毎日がこんな風になるといいね。
Every day like this?
だから会社から帰ってくるアキトを暖かい部屋で私がお出迎えするの。たまに今日みたいに寝ちゃってたりとかして。
Hikari giggled to herself. I can't imagine it.
なんで？
Bam! That was the expression on Hikari's face.
私とじゃ将来を想像できない？
Nope. It's just I haven't had that sort of thing in a long time for a long time now. Not since my parents died. When I lived in Mikazaki Village, my grandfather took care of me. But he was moody and didn't say much, and I was terrified of being abandoned again. After that, I lived at school for a time, and now I was living in a rented room.
アキト、
Hikari smiled broadly and looked straight at me.
私は想像つくよ。アキトとの未来。きっと子供がいて、その子たちと庭で星を見てるの。アキトは多分子供には甘々なお父さんになるから、その分私が厳しくしないとだね。もう二度と話さないもん。
Hikari grabbed my arm tightly. Losing her balance, she was about to fall on me. I held her steady and looked up at the ceiling. That future of yours just might be possible. Any future is possible as long as it's with you. A future life with someone I could call family.
ずっと一緒にいようね、アキト。
I hugged her back, and she felt warm and soft as if she'd been stuffed full of happiness. You're so soft, it feels so good to hug you.
今度太ってるって言ったら殴るよ。
I decided to keep how lucky I felt to myself. I could hear the temple bells ringing. It was December 31st, New Year's Eve. Every year on this night only, the Stop and By stayed open late. It was for the benefit of those who headed out of shrines and mountains right after midnight.
ねえ、行こうよ、アキトも。
私たちお店終わるまで待ってるよ。
Nah, it's fine. I'll visit the shrine with Taki tomorrow anyway.
彼女を選ぼうよ、そこは。
Saya nodded solemnly in support of Hikari's protest.
タケ君は彼女を選ぶと思うよ。
That's right. Takichi had a girlfriend now. Well, then I'll go by myself. It's okay. Hikari puffed her cheeks into satisfaction. You're going to ring the bell, right? You should go now or you'll miss it. We were allowed to ring the bell at the nearby temple. Look, we've got a customer. Welcome to the Stop and By. Welcome, the master himself. Old Man Champ turned a little red when he saw Hikari and Saya, then scurried off to the magazine corner. The old man can't shop calmly with you girls around, you know. I motioned for them to leave.
いった。
じゃあちょっとだけ光を借りるね。
At last, they left. What can I do for you? That'll be 780 yen, please. As usual, I stuffed the porno mag directly into a paper bag. Hope you come back next year, sir.
こちらこそよろしくな、小僧。
With a satisfied grin, Old Man Champ went home. Thank you for shopping. Have a great new year. After Old Man Champ left, some familiar faces came in to buy things. We greeted one another warmly. I'd worked at the shop and buy for a year and a half, and nearly a year had gone by since I'd moved in. I had thought of the job and the room as temporary, but along the way I got used to life here, and now it just felt like home. This isn't bad at all, although there were times when comfort would actually be confusing. Without realizing it, I had found my place. And while I attended to the customers trickling in, the new year began.
空見くん、そろそろ閉めていいわよ。遅くまでご苦労様。
Hi. With renewed vigor, I started closing up the store.
いつも本当によく働いてくれるね。空見くんさえよければ、うちの2号店を任せてもいいんだけれど。
I didn't know if I should be thankful or unsettled by those words behind my back, so I pretended I didn't hear them. They were going to open another store, huh? Well, if the location was better, it would probably make lots more money. And when the time came, I hoped they'd make their unemployed daughter work. See you later.
お疲れ様。今年もまたよろしくね。
Happy New Year to you, too. I didn't go back to my room after closing up. Instead, I ventured out under the winter sky. A cold wind was blowing, and the stars were twinkling above. Good weather, but the moon's a little bright. I was muttering to myself while I got my bike ready.
明けおめ。
Miss Mahara was coming back from the temple. A friend who lived nearby had invited her. Happy New Year to you too, Miss Mahara.
こんな時間からどこ行くの？
To the temple.
そんなもの持って？
Hi.
そう。気をつけて行ってくるんだよ。
I will. Kotaru heard us and came out of his kennel. I'm going out for a while. It's cold. Go back inside. Realizing that I wasn't going to take him out, Kotaru backed away sadly. See you around. As Miss Mahara looked on, I baked off into the first night of the new year. I rode slowly along the dam's path, now in a pitch-black darkness. The moon reflected the lake's surface was just beautiful. I stopped my bike to take a closer look at the scenery. Even with this much moonlight, Orion shone brightly. You can still see Betelgeuse. The last light of this iconic winter. We had no way of knowing whether Betelgeuse will still existed at the moment. If we had better instruments, or if one day humans were able to travel 642 light years, perhaps we'd know. What will that day come first, or will Betelgeuse give off its last light first? Would that day come during my lifetime, I wonder? Or perhaps it'd be better if I didn't have to see that beautiful star vanish from Orion and the winter sky. Using a flashlight to light the way, I walked along the dark forest path. Even though it was just mostly overgrown foot trail, I knew I wouldn't get lost. I knew this track well. The abandoned train station was just up ahead. Just as Betelgeuse still shone in the night sky, this abandoned train, our secret observatory, was still standing here. Solemnly, I entered that space of tranquility. Huh? There was someone on the roof of the train. Her long twin ponytails dancing in the wind, as she had the moon's spotlight all to herself.
アキト、
どうしたの？
From the train car, Saya poked her head out. What are you guys doing here?
あんたこそ一人で何しに来たのよ。
I hid the thing I was holding behind my back.
望遠鏡だ。
なの？
Hikari jumped down to the ground.
何？一人で星を見に来たの？
Yeah, is that a bad thing? Hikari and Saya looked at each other.
悪い。
I thought so too, but I looked away just to hide my shame. I climbed onto the roof and set up the telescope. It was the telescope my parents had given me.
懐かしいねこれ。本当だ。
It had been a long time since I'd used this telescope. In the Six Stars Club, we had Maiku's refracting telescope as well as the Pleiades one. And before that, I was the astronomer who never looks at the stars. To me, this is like praying at a shrine, I guess. Not to the gods, but to the stars. I brought a large backpack with me. I was going to observe the first sunrise of the year alone, with a cup of coffee. And what are you two doing out here in the cold?
初詣だけじゃ物足りなかったから。
アキトくんいなくて寂しかったしね。
You could have gone home and watched variety shows from the warm comfort of a kakatsu. The two of them waited eagerly while I set up the telescope.
ねえ、何を見るの？
今だと何がいいのかな。やっぱりオリオン大星雲か。
Ignoring Hikari's mutterings, I pointed the telescope at Sirius and made small adjustments. They watched silently, unaware of what I was looking for. First, start at the back leg of Canis Major. From there, extend out at a distance equal to the distance between those two stars. There you are. Hikari and Saya finally realized what I was looking at. Our original star. This plain but beautiful double star was the start of our galactic journey. After forming the Mikusaki Astronomy Club, we used to come to this secret observatory almost every night to tour the stars. Just as before, the winter albiero shone blue and orange in the sky.
やっぱり綺麗だね。あれからずいぶん経っちゃったけど、なんだかすごく遠くに来たみたい。
Looking away from the eyepiece, I saw Hikari fall silent.
どうしたの、光？
なんかね、プロジェクトスターライトがうまくいって嬉しいんだけど。
You can't see our next destination? Hikari nodded, her brow furrowed. A minor case of burnout, perhaps. Understandable, after all, she was a mere student who managed to mobilize all of Japan. We might never do anything as exciting ever again. Hikari smiled forlornly. Then Saya spoke up.
大丈夫だよ、きっと。あの頃、私、光とあっくんと一緒なら、なんだってできるって思ってたよ。そしたら、本当にできちゃった。この空にたくさんの星を降らせたのは光なんだよ。
I guess you could say that. If not for Project Starlight, we might not have seen so many stars from the ground.
それにほら、銀河系の外にだってもっともっとたくさんの星がある。
Looking up at the starry sky, Hikari murmured. I added my own 2 cents. Though we have conquered the Milky Way, our journey is not yet over.
宇宙の謎を解き明かす旅に出よう。
Saya and I grinned. Then Hikari couldn't help but grin too.
この列車は空を行く銀河鉄道天文台。 次なる目的地へ向かおう。
An astronomer once said these words: "There are things we don't know, and we take joy in that fact. For it means that adventures await us, mysteries to be solved." Looking up at the stars always reminded us of the way we felt that day. Motivated by curiosity, always searching for the joy of solving the unknown, our adventures with the stars were far from over. Here, new ones were always waiting.
あ、見えた。うわー、見える。すげえ。うおー、すっごい。うわー。初めて天体望遠鏡で月を見たあの夜のことは今でも鮮明に覚えてる。ここじゃない、どこか遠くの世界。そこには山があって谷があって確かな大地があって、まるで別の世界がそこにあるように感じて、行ってみたいって思ったんだ。あの日から私の中にはずっと幻の月の世界がある。どうしてあんなにも月の大地に心惹かれたのだろう。小さな田舎の村で育った私はずっと知らずにいた外の世界を。あの頃の私にとって世界とはお父さんの鉄道の終点まで。その向こうは月や火星と同じだった。そのことに何ら疑問なんてなかったし、出て行きたかったわけでもない。だって私は三日月村が大好きだったから。けれどある日、ぶっきらぼうな男の子と毒もみたいなおしゃれで可愛い女の子が終点の向こう、世界の外からやってきた。そして私は知った。月に大地があること。暗闇で光が弾けるように、その瞬間何かがパッと広がった。何者でもない私にも届くかもしれない未知の可能性。たどり着きたい場所、まだ見ぬ未来。私は夢中で星を見上げ、天体望遠鏡という宇宙船に乗って銀河を旅した。
じゃあ例の日は家族みんなでキャンプするんだ。
そうなのよ。おかげでパパ大はしゃぎで。
なんか目に浮かぶね。月乃ちゃんと陽太くんにいいとこ見せたいんだ。
月乃はともかく陽太は乗り気じゃない感じだけど、暗いの怖いってベソ書いてる。あの子ほんと気が弱いから誰に似ちゃったのか。
優しいんだよ陽太くんは。きっとあっくんに似たんだと思う。いいなあキャンプ。久しぶりにあっくんの作ってくれるポップコーンが食べたいよ。
あれ美味しかったよね。よし、リクエストしてこ。さやも今度行こう。うちのちびすけたちも喜ぶからさ。さやおばちゃんが来てくれると。
お姉ちゃんだからね。
そっちは例の日どうするの？
私は白鳥さんに誘われてるから。コロナちゃんたちも来るって言ってたよ。
いいなあ。みんなによろしくね。
うん、わかった。
何？
また見られると思って。明るい夜が
そうだね。楽しみだわ。学校を卒業してもう随分になる。私とさやは別々の大学へ行き、少し疎遠になった時期もあったけど、今でもこうして仲の良い友人を続けている。幼なじみの特権というやつだろう。たとえ数ヶ月ぶりに会っても、1週間ぶりだね、お腹の調子良くなったくらいのテンションで話せる。そんな友人を一人でも持てたことは幸運であり、さやは私の宝物の一つだ。プロジェクトスターライトの後もむつら星の会は活動を続けたし、私たちが引退した後もしばらく会は存続した。その後部員不足が深刻になり自然消滅。しかし誰かの呼びかけでまた復活ということを何度か繰り返し、今もどうにか天文活動を続けていると聞いている。白鳥さんや吉岡さん、西高や諸見沢のみんな、コロナやひなみちゃん、その後から入ってきたさらに下の世代たちとも、大きな天体ショーがあれば集まることもしばしばだ。何せうちのパパは今でも星が大好きだったから。ルビーよりも赤く透き通り、リチウムよりも美しく酔ったようになって、その火は燃えているのでした。あれは何の火だろう。あんな赤く光る火は何を燃やせばできるんだろう。ジョバンニが言いました。サソリの火だな。カムパネルラがまた地図と首っ引きして答えました。
サソリって何？
サソリというのはね、毒を持った怖い虫だよ。
怖いのやだ。
大丈夫。このお話に出てくるサソリは虫じゃなくて星座なの。サソリの火はサソリ座の心臓とも言われる一等星のアンタレス。
アンタレス。
ヨータにはまだ難しかったか。アンタレスは夏の星。真っ赤に燃えるようでとっても綺麗な星よ。またパパに見せてもらおうね。
うん。ママ、まだ
Tsukino peeked in at the entrance.
星綺麗だよ。
でも
ヨータ、男の子でしょ？暗いからってビビるんじゃないの？だってじゃない。ほら、行くよ。
Tsukino grabbed Yuta's arm and tried to pull him out of the tent.
こーら、弟をいじめるんじゃないの？
いじめてないよ。ママのチョップの方がいじめじゃん。
ほんと生意気なんだから。誰に似たのやら。
お父さんはママに似たんだって言ってるよ。だから月野は宇宙一可愛いって。
Was that a good or a bad thing? I wasn't sure. In any case, the kid's father was spoiling them. Tsukino especially, he'd let her get away with just about everything, so I had to pay extra attention. Hey, Hikari, we should head out soon.
わかった。ヨータ？
He was a sensitive child, and the darkness was fodder for his imagination.
おまじないの言葉を教えてあげる。
おまじない？
暗闇を恐れることはない。夜の闇が暗いほど星はまばゆく輝くのだから。
何それ？
明るい場所じゃ見えない小さな光も暗い場所なら見えるってこと。お父さんのそのまたお父さんが言ってた言葉なんだけどね。
わかんない。
そのうちわかるわ。
Smiling, I rubbed his head playfully.
ずるい。私も撫でて。
はいはい、あんたも甘えん坊だね。
優しい時のママは大好きだよ。
はいはい、それじゃ明かりを消すよ。さあ行こう。星の海で冒険だ。
It was a November day in the year 2034. We were on top of a small mountain outside the old Mikizaka village. What's the matter, Yuta?
この子暗がりが怖いのよ。明かり消しちゃったし。
そうか。
やーい弱虫。
こら月野。
ママが怒った。助けてお父さん。
もうパパが甘やかすから。
Just as I expected, Akito had spoiled the kids. With Yuta, he was strict sometimes because he wanted to be cool, strong father figure, but he was putty in Tsukino's hands.
月野、お父さんと星を見てたの？
天体望遠鏡で見せてもらったよ。ママとの思い出の星。うしし。
ちょっと、月野に何話したの？
I just showed her the stars we used to look at together, that's all.
ママの子供の頃の話いっぱい聞いちゃった。
Looks like I would have to interrogate Papa about what stories exactly he told this cheeky girl. The countdown should start soon. Akito looked at his watch. Even without a watch, I could count on the seconds toward that moment. My heart was racing as if waiting for the instant when all the stars and planets aligned. 3, 2, 1.
ゼロ。
Sakina, you two, look.
街の明かりが消えてく。
From our tiny mountain, we saw the bright lights of Hoshinanaka City go out one by one. There were more people in the city now, so the streets were almost blinding, but those lights slowly vanished under the cover of night.
お父さん。
Tsukina reached for her father's hand. Yuta held on tight and buried his face in my chest. People were afraid of the dark. Not being able to see, not knowing where you were facing, that's what terrifies us about the dark. But there's nothing to be afraid of, because...
見上げてごらん。夜空の星を。
Because up there was a dazzling stars. There in the darkness that came after the city turned off its lights were countless little stars. And against that starry backdrop, it was a November day in the year 2034. Tonight, after 33 years, the Leonid meteor shower would be seen all over Japan.
流れ星がいっぱい。光のシャワーみたい。
Forgetting their fear of the dark, the children smiled in the starlight. Amazing. Akito was as wide-eyed as the kids, and looking at him, I felt a tinge of nostalgia.
すごいね。
The legendary meteor shower seen over Japan in 2001 had returned after 33 years. It was even bigger than the geminids we saw that night as students. Some called it a meteor storm. And to make the most of this eagerly awaited major astronomy event, a certain festival had been revived, Project Starlight. Traces and records of the plan were executed over 10 years ago, could still be found online. Some students had seen them and revived the project, all for the production of a miraculous night, for the sake of a bright night. Looks like someone else picked up what you started, Hikari.
大げさだよ。みんな綺麗な夜空が好きなだけだって。静かに音もなく燃えて輝く星屑の雨を見上げて不思議を思う。宇宙にはこんな思いもよらない夜があるのだと。 不思議を思い、空の謎に思いを馳せて、想像の汽車に乗って銀河を旅する。私たちにとってのあの日々のような経験をこの子たちにもさせてあげたい。だから見上げてごらん、夜空の星を。そこに見える無数の光は君たちの未来の可能性なんだよ。
We have our achievement and just one last route to go through.
I want cookies for Christmas, Santa.
Well, Tootsie, I'd forgotten just how good Hikary's path was. I'm finding it hard to believe at present that my memory serves me correctly, that Orihimi's story is even better.
Oh, really? Why?
Well, this was obviously meant to be the showcase route for these developers. It's a huge route. It took me over 5 videos to cover it. And that's not because I was chopping the route into smaller videos, like I did with Corona's much smaller path. They're all around 2 hours long.
Wow!
Yes, they even had this scene that they played in one of the game's main songs as part of the story toward the end of the path. Toward the beginning of this video, actually. They had something similar in the common route, but even though we haven't gone through Orihimi's route just yet, to say for certain, I believe this feature is going to end up being unique to this path.
What made the path so good?
The love story, to start, is excellent. You might think 2 hours of Hikari playing hard to get would be annoying. It certainly is frustrating at times, mind you. But annoying? No, not at all. When it climaxes, you can't help but want to cheer.
Anything else?
The science story is really good. Even though it's the same as the one on Saya's path, Hikari's proposing to light up the night by getting everyone to turn the lights off. It differs greatly once the initial stargazing event is held, and this time, Mr. Morito comes pretty much put a damper on things. At least to start. The Six Stars Club truly had a lot of stuff to overcome.
What problems did they have?
They really didn't plan the event out. Mr. Morito pointed out all these holes in their plan.
How did they overcome it?
Well, on Saya's route, Project Starlight was limited to Hoshinonaka City. On this route, they filled up the holes in the plan that Mr. Morito showed, and then they took the project to all of Japan. I mean, even if Mr. Morito wouldn't have ended up backing them as he ended up doing so, the project was too big to squash by the time they had come back to him with it.
Anything else good to mention?
This path had some great scenes. The parade was awesome. The one where Hikari falls asleep in Akito's room, it's funny. The ending, seeing Akito and Hikari together with their children years later, they are all excellent.
Okay, so it sounds like you really like this path. Like, really like this path. But you do recall Orihimi's path being better, right? What was so bad about this path?
Well, it wasn't much, believe me. But I believe I can sum it up in 3 points.
1.
1. Again, they used the same story from Saya's route. While it did end up being entirely different, both times I played through this game, I'd already done Saya's route first. This took some of the surprise out of the story for me both times.
2.
The love story climaxes way too quickly. The last 6 hours of the game are predominantly the science story. There are some good love scenes that follow, but still.
And 3.
The whole Saya avoiding Akito and Hikari thing was plain annoying. For 4 hours in this video, she avoids them in order to not be in their way, but it just feels so wrong. You can tell that Saya didn't have to behave that way. The 3 of them, their present friendship is just so much stronger than that, despite everything that happened in their pasts. This last point is probably the biggest reason that I remember liking her path a tad, and I do mean a very small tad less than Orihimi's.
Okay, Orihimi is Akito's last love option, then?
Yes, she was portrayed rather childishly in this path, actually. She is a bit of an attention hog, but her character in Hikari's path, it's just too much of that, I think.
only one way to find out, right?
You got it. For www.notthetimcurrystudios.com, she's a little hamper.
He's giant pantyhose head.
Pantyhose head?
Thanks again for not noticing us and ignoring us, Tim Curry.
Pantyhose head? Really?
Now,